Welcome. In today's video, I'm going to show you how you can install the WordPress the proper way. We go to the official website of WordPress and we download the latest version available. You will notice the technical requirements for the platform to run optimally. You will see in this case that PHP 7.4 is necessary, MySQL 5.7, and so on and so forth. With this information, compare it to your hosting provider, so you make sure that your hosting provider supports this version in order for your WordPress to work properly. Now that we have the WordPress downloaded, with the archive, we needed to upload it to our hosting provider, in File Manager in this case. So what we are going to do is go to our cPanel in the File Manager, and we'll go to the public HTML folder. It's important to know that when somebody accesses your domain, the server will automatically go to public HTML and search for a file called index.html or .php. As you can see, the folder is empty, no file is present, so if we access the domain, we have an error of 404 not found. But some servers might display an empty page or some browsing interface. In order to upload our files, we need to press the upload button, and we can now select the archive that we downloaded from the WordPress website. We can also use the drag and drop like I'm doing right now. Now that we have the archive uploaded to the server, all we have to do now is extract the files from the archive. When the process is finished, you will have a log of everything that was extracted from the archive. Just close the window and that's it. It's best to use the reload function because sometimes the system doesn't refresh in real time all the changes. Now you will see that we have a folder called WordPress that contains all the files of the platform. And here is the first mistake that most people do. The mistake is to leave the WordPress folder as it is. And the solution to make the website work when you access the domain name is to make a redirect behind the scenes, which is not a good idea to do. So in order to fix that, all we have to do is transfer all the files from the folder into public HTML folder. Because cPanel doesn't display by default the hidden files, we need to do that first. So we go to Settings, we check that we want a home directory and display all hidden files. So when we move the files, we make sure that we move everything. Now we click the Select All button, right click on any folder, move, and you can see the WordPress folder, it's already written. So we delete that, we make sure we have only /public HTML, and that's it. Now we have all the files moved into public HTML. So now when we access the main domain, the WordPress installation will start directly. If we continue the installation process, after we select the language we want the WordPress to be, we will reach the step where the WordPress is informing us that we need to specify what is the database name, user, and password. So before we can continue installing the WordPress, we need to create the database. Also, the system tells us that a file called wp-config is necessary in order for the system to connect to the database. But if we go to the cPanel, we will notice that this file is not present. The reason is that this file is going to be created once we specify the database username and password. Now we go to MySQL databases and we create the first database. I'm saving the database name, user, and password in a file that I'm going to use later on in the install process. At the bottom of the page, we have MySQL users, and here we need to create the user that is going to access the database. Also, you can use the password generator in order to specify a password for this user. Also, note it down. We're going to need it later on in the install process. At this point, we have the database created, we have the user created with the password, and we need to assign the user to this database. As you can see, we have the database but no privileged users. So in order to do that, at the very bottom of the page, we have the option to attach a user to a database. Since we have only one, it's only one option to select. Check mark the all privileges and make changes. And now the database can be accessed by this user with all privileges on it. Going back to the install process, we're going to add the database name, user, and password that we previously saved. And we leave the local host, the database host, as localhost. We don't change that. For security reasons, it's always best to change the prefix. The default one is WP from WordPress. You need to change it in something else. Seeing this screen means that the database connection was established from the WordPress to the cPanel. So now the last stage of the install process is to add the site title, the username and password for the admin. So not for the cPanel or the database, it's the username that you're going to use in order to access the WordPress admin. The email that you see here is for notification purposes. So every time there is an update or the system updates itself automatically, the system will notify you at this email address. Now everything was successful. We managed to install the WordPress and the system redirects us to the login page of the admin. And if you access the main domain, we will see the main page of the website. If we go back in the cPanel, in the file manager, we will see that the bpconfig file was now created. This file contains all the information regarding the database connection. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment and subscribe. Thank you and see you next time.